Hey guys, welcome to Aerial Geeks, and today we're going to be talking about how to get into FPV. I'm going to tell you what FPV is and how you can get started, especially in Nigeria. This is an FPV drone and these are LiPo batteries. Now let's talk about FPV drones. FPV stands for first person view because you see out of the drone camera through a goggle, a first person view goggle. This is what it looks like. So the thing is, it transmits the image from the camera into the goggles and you wear it over your face, so it feels like you are the drone, and that's why it's called first person view. So FPV drones. So FPV drones come in different sizes. This is a cine whoop. It comes in 2-inch, 3-inch, and then you have the 5-inch drone, which comes in, which is good for freestyle and everything else. So if you're thinking of getting FPV drones in Nigeria, the first thing you need to get is a transmitter, also called a controller. And then you need a drone, and also just as important, you need the batteries and the charger. And of course you need your goggles because you have to see what you're doing. Yeah. So let's talk about getting into FPV drones in Nigeria. The first two questions you have to ask yourself is, one, why do you want to go into FPV drones? Why do you want to fly FPV drones? We have the Cinewhoop, which is good for cinematic videos, and we also have the 5-inch drone, which is also known as a freestyle drone. They're big and really fast, and they're great for stunts. When I say big, it means they're like the bigger than the small Cinewhoop drones. We even have bigger drones. This is 5-inch. We have 6, 7, 20-inch, but yeah, so it's called 5-inch because of the diameter of the blades, the propellers, and the other one is smaller, which is why it's 2-inch. So you have to decide, what do you want to do, cinematic or freestyle? Another very important question you have to decide is, do you want to build drones yourself, or do you want to buy a pre-built one? Because you have to, you have to get everything, the motors, the flight controller, the props, the frame, the camera. You gotta build it yourself, but then you have to learn how to solder. So you see all this, the flight controller, the battery leads, the motor wires, you have to solder it yourself. Or you can just buy a pre-built drone and you just connect it to your controller, get your batteries, get your goggles, and you're good to go. And by good to go, I mean that's if you've learned how to fly. So a good reason why you have to get a transmitter is you have to practice. You have to learn how to fly an FPV drone using a simulator. You can't do without it. So unlike other drones like the DJI drone, the FPV drone is completely manual, and the throttle doesn't have any stabilization to keep it in the middle to make your drone hover. Because if you push it up, your drone just keeps going off, and if you drop it down, your drone just falls down from the sky. And also, while flying FPV drones, it just doesn't go forward. I mean, you push the stick forward and the drone will flip over. It's kind of like a helicopter. That's why when you fly on acro mode, it's also called acrobatic mode, because it's super trippy and So let's go back to learning how to fly. There are two ways to learn how to fly. You could get like a transmitter and then use like a use like a flight simulator and learn how to fly. Or they're pre-packaged whoop drones like this. They're even smaller. They come with everything, the goggles, the remote, the charger, and the battery. And because they're so small and lightweight, you can crash them a couple of times and they wouldn't really get damaged. That's a good way to learn how to fly if you feel like you want to jumping and you don't want to use a simulator and a transmitter. But the reason why I would recommend you building your own drone is, if you run into issues, you can always fix it yourself, because the first rule of FPV is you will break your drone, you will crash it so many times. That's why it's kind of like an expensive hobby, but don't let that discourage you. I've crashed a lot. I've broken my arm into two. I've broken the motors, and because an FPV drone is made out of carbon fiber, it's pretty strong, yeah, but I've broken it regardless. And because I built it myself, all I did was just get the replacement parts and put it back together, desolder the parts I needed, resolder them back to the motherboard, which is the flight controller, and good to go. I really recommend you learn how to build it yourself. But you could just get a pre-built one and have fun. But the most important thing is you have to learn how to fly. The thing about getting into FPV in Nigeria is some parts are pretty hard to get, like the battery, especially the battery. You can't really import it. But first things first, if you're ever interested in FPV, the first thing you should get is a transmitter. It is super important. Learn how to fly and get everything else you need piece by piece. And then just buy yourself a drone or build one and you're good to go. So something very important here is the batteries. They are not easy to get in Nigeria. There are a few people that have some of these to sell, LiPo batteries, but they're pretty hard to get. And another thing about the batteries is they don't last long when you're flying, between 3 to 5 minutes. So if you're getting batteries, make sure you get enough. Like when you add a GoPro on your drone, the added weight kills your battery faster. So maybe it drops to like 4 minutes. So the thing is, like I said, the batteries aren't easy to get. So if you have someone coming into the country, you can tell them to help you get them because you cannot ship them in. Even if you could, it's going to be a hassle. So when you can get batteries, get enough of them. So I'm going to leave links to I'm gonna leave links to buying the drones if you want like a pre-built one, or the parts if you want to build it yourself. So like my recommended drone, battery, charger, goggles. And anyways, as for me, I would recommend you learn how to fly on the simulator first. That's it for now. If you have any questions, just let me know, leave a comment below. And this is my favorite drone because it's really small and really it's really cinematic. It's pretty nice. You can fly under cars with it, fly through windows. It's my favorite drone. As for the 5 inch, I like it because it's super fast. Like the speed, yeah, the speed is just addictive. It's really addictive. So you just have to decide how you want to go. So you just have to decide how you want to go. So